English Listening Practice. Episode 8, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Listening Practice from English Learning Hub. My name is Emily, and I'm happy you are here with me. Today, we are going to explore a very special book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I'm going to share simple explanations, real-life stories, and friendly advice that you can use right away. I will talk slowly and clearly, so this episode is especially for beginner learners. Let's sit back, relax, and have a warm chat about making friends and creating good connections. When you want to build better relationships, the very first thing to remember is to avoid criticism. Criticism can make people feel hurt or upset. It can push them away instead of bringing them closer. I learned this lesson with a friend at work. He was new to our team, and he often made small mistakes on the computer. At first, I felt annoyed, and I said something like, "You did that wrong again." He looked down and stopped trying as hard. Then I thought about Carnegie's words. I decided to try a different approach. I said, "Hey, I know these programs can be tricky. I had trouble with them when I started too. Would you like me to show you a shortcut I use?" He brightened up and said yes. After that, he learned the trick quickly, and he thanked me for helping instead of pointing out his error. A small change in words made a big difference, and our friendship grew. Next, let's talk about sincere appreciation. Many of us know how nice it feels to get a gift or a compliment, but it can be hard to know what to say. Carnegie reminds us that honest praise is like sunshine. It warms people's hearts and makes them bloom. I want to tell you about my neighbor, Mrs. Lopez. She bakes amazing banana bread every Sunday, and she shares a slice with all of us on the block. One morning, I stopped by her door and said, "Mrs. Lopez, your banana bread is so soft and sweet. I love how the cinnamon flavors mix with the bananas. It really makes my day." She paused, looked at me, and smiled in a way I had never seen before. She began to tell me about the recipe she learned from her grandmother, and she even let me try baking with her the following weekend. That simple thank you created a bond between us, and now we share stories and laughter over our morning coffee. Another idea from the book is to arouse in the other person an eager want. This idea is about helping people see that your request can help them reach their own goals. I saw this in action with my cousin, Mark. He wanted to learn Spanish, but he felt it was too difficult. He spent hours memorizing grammar rules without fun. I asked him to think about why he wanted Spanish. He said, "I want to watch movies in Spanish without subtitles and talk to people from other countries." I suggested that instead of just studying rules, he should watch a short movie clip each day and learn phrases that people use in real conversations. He could repeat them and even act them out. When he did this, Spanish stopped being a dull class and turned into a fun experience. He felt excited, and fast forward 6 months, he was chatting with tourists in the park with confidence. By tapping into what he truly wanted, he found a path that made him happy and kept him going. Dale Carnegie also gives us simple ways to become more likable. One important way is to show genuine interest in others. When we ask open questions and listen with our whole heart, people feel seen and valued. I remember a coworker named Lucy who loved to paint. I knew only a little about her hobby, until one day I asked, "Lucy, what do you like most about painting?" She lit up and told me about the first time she painted a sunset over the sea. I asked, "Which colors did you choose for the sky?" She showed me her phone, and I noticed how carefully she selected each shade. We spent the next few minutes talking about brushes and papers, and I learned more than I ever expected. Lucy later told me that she had never had a coworker who cared so much about her art. And from that moment on, we became friends who shared weekend painting classes. Another tip is to smile. A smile costs nothing, but it can brighten someone's day. When you meet a new person or see a neighbor in the hallway, try a warm smile and say, "Hi, how are you?" It sets a friendly mood and makes the other person feel welcome. I was once at a busy train station, feeling tired and a bit lost. I saw a station worker who looked stressed. I walked up, smiled, and said, "Excuse me, could you tell me which train goes to Maple Street?" She paused, smiled back, and gave me the directions. She said it was nice to be greeted with kindness, and she told me exactly where to go. A simple smile opened the door to helpful words. Using a person's name is another way to show you care. A name is the sweetest sound to a person, as Carnegie writes. When you meet someone, try to repeat their name. If you are introduced as, "Hi, this is Jason," you can answer, "Nice to meet you, Jason." Later, if you see him again, you might say, "Jason, how did your presentation go yesterday?" Hearing one's own name helps people feel important. A few years ago, I joined a small book club, and I introduced myself to each member as Emily. I made a point to say each name back to them. So, I'm talking to Anna, Ben, Carla, and Dan. Writing their names down in my notebook helped too. At the next meeting, when I greeted them by name, their faces lit up. They remembered me, and I was no longer a new face in the group. Being a good listener is a skill that most of us need to practice more. Being a good listener means giving full attention to the person who speaks. It means not thinking about your reply while they are talking, but just hearing every word. A friend of mine, Tom, always loved to talk about travel. One day I asked him, "Tom, what was your favorite place on your last trip?" He began to tell me about a small village in Italy where the people sang on their balconies at sunset. Instead of interrupting, I listened quietly and nodded. After he finished, I asked, "How did you discover that village?" He smiled and told me more stories. Because I listened, our conversation felt deep and real. He thanked me later for being such a good listener. Talking in terms of the other person's interests helps build a bridge between you. If someone loves gardening, ask about their plants. If someone loves cooking, ask about recipes. My sister Olivia is a yoga teacher. I don't practice yoga much, but I once asked her, "Olivia, what makes yoga feel so peaceful?" She explained her breathing technique and how she focuses on one movement at a time. I nodded and asked, "Which pose do you find the toughest?" She taught me a simple stretch right there in the living room. That moment turned into a fun lesson and a chance for us to laugh together. Making people feel important is at the heart of the book, but it must come from the heart. People can see through false flattery. When a friend helps you, tell them exactly why it matters. I was writing a report for work, and my friend Jason read it and gave me clear feedback. I said, "Jason, your suggestions about the chart made all the numbers easier to follow. I think the team will thank you for helping me make it simple." He grinned and said he felt proud that his advice made a difference. That small moment made him eager to help again. Carnegie also teaches about leadership and how to guide people gently. One idea is to begin with praise and honest appreciation before you offer a suggestion. If you need to ask someone to change part of their work, start by pointing out what they did well. "I see you spent a lot of time on this design. The colors look great. Could we slightly adjust the layout so the title stands out more?" When you start on a positive note, people listen with open minds. He also advises to call attention to mistakes indirectly. Instead of pointing and saying, "You did this wrong," try asking, "Do you think we could make this section even stronger by adding a photo here?" It invites them to fix the issue without feeling attacked. Another tip is to talk about your own mistakes first. If you need to correct someone, you can say, "I remember when I missed a meeting because I forgot to set an alarm. I learned to set 2 alarms now. Would you like me to show you how I do it?" Sharing your own fault shows humility and makes it safe for others to accept help. Asking questions instead of giving direct orders gives people a sense of freedom. Rather than saying, "Submit this by Friday," try, "Would you mind sending me this by Friday?" The polite request feels less like a command and more like teamwork. Letting people save face is also key. If someone makes a slip in a meeting, you can say, "We all make mistakes sometimes. Let's see how we can fix this together." It keeps their dignity and keeps the group's spirit high. Adding praise for each small improvement encourages growth. I once taught a new coworker how to use a database, and the first time she navigated without help, I said, "Nice work finding that record so quickly. It's clear you've been practicing." She beamed and kept getting better every day. Giving someone a good reputation to live up to can push them to do their best. If you tell a friend, "I know you're the most reliable person to handle this task," they will try to meet your confidence. I tried this with my cousin who often forgot deadlines. I said, "I trust you to get this done by next week." He surprised me by finishing 2 days early. Encouraging others by making faults seem easy to correct helps too. If a student makes a grammar mistake, you could say, "This rule is just a little tricky. Try practicing these 3 sentences each morning and you'll master it." A simple plan can make a big challenge feel small. Finally, make people happy about doing what you suggest by showing them the benefit. When I wanted my neighbor to join a morning walk, I said, "It's a great way to feel energized and start the day on a good note." She agreed and later thanked me because she felt more awake all day. Dale Carnegie also shows us how to influence ideas with simple steps. One idea is to get the other person saying yes right away by starting with points they agree on. If you want to ask someone to volunteer, you might begin, "We both care about helping our community, right?" They say yes, and then they feel more open to your next suggestion. Letting the other person feel the idea is theirs is powerful. If you want someone's help planning an event, you could ask, "How would you set up the welcome table?" They give ideas, and they become more committed because it feels like their own plan. Dramatizing your ideas can make them memorable. One time at a team meeting, I used a quick role play to show how small messages can get mixed up. I whispered a short sentence to one person, and we passed it around. By the end, the sentence had changed completely. Everyone laughed, and we all learned the importance of clear communication. Throwing down a challenge can motivate people. If you tell your study group, "I bet we can learn 10 new words by tomorrow," suddenly everyone wants to try. A little friendly contest can boost energy and help everyone learn more. Dale Carnegie wrote this book to help people see that kindness and respect are not just nice ideas, but tools we can use every day. His words remind us that genuine care and small acts of friendship can open doors we never expected. You don't need to use every tip at once. Try a few that feel natural and see how people respond. Practice one idea this week, maybe sincere appreciation or deep listening. Notice how someone smiles more, or how a simple question can make a conversation flow. These small steps will grow into strong bonds and happier moments. Thank you for listening to this episode about how to win friends and influence people. I hope you feel ready to try these ideas in your life. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know which tip you will try first. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon so you won't miss any new episodes. See you next time. Goodbye, everyone.